One thing that I would love for people to take away from today's speech on the F18 and the machines is that I want them to understand how, as a barista, that they can utilize their equipment to its full capability and have a better understanding of their machine. As a barista, we can also press a button, we can steam milk, but do we understand what we're actually doing when we press that button and when we steam the milk? I think a lot of baristas don't, and today I would really hope that people take away a little bit more information of their machines and how it actually produces that amazing cup of coffee that you get and you serve to your customers. That's what we're aiming for today. So you might find that when you are out in the field, or if you do look inside your coffee machine, you might find little white powder residue sometimes, and this is not on a Sanremo particular machine, it's machines in general, because at the end of the day, they are big teapots heating water. Yes, they have their bells and whistles, and you can design it to look like a Ferrari, or you can design it to look like a shoebox. That's fine. But at the end of the day, water goes into your machine, heats up, and then eventually will come out. So the most important thing is your filtration system, guys. So your filtration system is very important, because if you aren't using the correct filtration, on F18 we recommend the BWT Best Max filtration system. If you aren't, I don't know where the other one went. Is there a second one passing around? Okay, the second one that you see passing around is actually a blocked restrictor. Yeah, you saw that. So with the correct, sometimes what happens if you're not changing your filter frequently enough, scale will build up and then it will cause it to block. And when that restrictor blocks, is that the blocked one? When that restrictor blocks, obviously no water is going to come out. And that's when we're going to have to call a tech to come out and fix the problem, right? So it's super important that we make sure that we've got the filtration system down pat.
When you descale, does it go back as far as this?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. So when you descale a machine, typically what we're doing is we're just putting water through the heat exchange. So then it will go completely to the front of the machine into the group heads. But obviously if you're descaling a coffee machine, obviously a technician will be there doing it. It's very important that the amount that you put in, you almost triple the amount out. Okay? All right, any questions so far on this part? Pretty straightforward. Water goes in, heat exchange, comes out. Okay? Everything that you see here, you've got group solenoid, you've got solenoids, that open and close valves up to deliver the water out. This part here, right here, is your actual hot water T. So there's two solenoids. One is controlling the hot water coming out of your steam boiler. The other one is delivering cold water to that component so you can have that cooler temperature. There is a mix underneath the machine that allows you to mix the temperature, which means that you're getting 65 degrees rather than 124 degrees in a cup. So that's what this system here does. Okay, we're going to come around to the front of the machine now. I know you can't see it inside because the base is very low, but does anyone know, has anyone seen inside a flow meter before? Yeah? No? So a flow meter is what determines the amount of water that comes out of your group head. So if you open that up, so the propeller inside here spins like that, and that, depending on how many times it spins, say you want 40 grams out, depending on how many times it will spin, it will deliver that 40 grams. So say it's hypothetically 100 spins, and it will give you 40 grams out. So once it spins once, it sends a signal to the main board. I spun once, twice, 3 times, 100 times, shut the shot down. That's how a flow meter works. So if you want to pass it around and give it a bit of a spin, you'll see that there's a little bit of scale in that one as well. So scale does come to here. So that's why I said stress the fact that water filters are very important.
But Dee, when the flow meter goes, typically what's happening?
So sometimes what happens is the signal will be, the chip at the top of the flow meter might be faulty. Okay. Yes. Secondly, the propeller might get stuck. So if there's a debris that's come through the line due to calcification or something like that, the propeller might get stuck, and then it will cause a misread, and it will slow your extraction down because it's not registering how many pulses it's happening. It will give you, say, you want 40 out, it might give you 60 out.
Where's the chip on it? Sorry.
Oh, just here.
Oh, so
up the top. Yeah. And inside the flow meter, there is a 1.15 restrictor in there as well. So the F18 SB is a 2-magnet flow meter. So in other ranges and in other machines, there might be a 4-magnet flow meter, but in the SB, it's a 2-magnet flow meter.
Is there a particular reason for that?
No, it's one, the 4-magnet flow meter registers a lot more pulses, which means it's going to be a little bit more accurate. Right. It's just a 2-magnet pole flow meter. So for example, on our racer, it's a 4-magnet flow meter. Yeah. Just the design, that's all. Once it gets delivered to the group head, after it passes the flow meter, it goes through that 8 restrictor that I showed you, and then into the E61 head. The valve. So how we open and close the valve and how we get our steam and what this function does for us, right? So in here, you have your steam valves. Your valve is basically a pipe inside a shaft. And what happens is when you open it, yeah, it pulls the shaft away from the back of the valve and your steam will travel through here. Sometimes we look at this and think, oh, it's overcomplicated. Sometimes it's like, oh, this is such a great, but really it's not, it's just not really, it's engineered to open and close. It's not really, there's not much to it. There's a spring that keeps the tension there. 2 O-rings, this is 2 O-ring shaft, and then a seat at the back that seals it close so the steam doesn't come out. So with the F18 SB arm, it's a quarter turn on and a purge off. Okay, so you can purge to give that burst, so you can clean that steam milk at the end, and then a full on at the end. Okay, so this is the F18 on, powered, and hot. Okay, so as I said before, there's a quarter turn on, and then a purge off for cleaning. So instead of having to control, you just go bang, it's clean. So in regards to your steam arm, it is cool touch as well. So if you grab it, it will remain cold. Inside your actual cool touch arm, the way it works is that there's a silicone tube inside. When you do clean your steam tip, it's very important that you get to this point and instead of pulling, you wiggle it off. Because the most important part is not dislodging the Teflon from the top. If it does happen and it dislodges, it's not the end of the world, but what that means is that eventually it will get a little bit hotter. It won't be cool, no, it will be warm, lukewarm maybe. Okay, so it's very important that when you pull your tip off, because a lot of baristas do like to clean their tips, but they just need to make sure that they do the proper pull out. Okay, so that's that. In regards to cleaning, guys, it's super important that when you're cleaning is that you don't, one, over-activate the group solenoid. So on the F18 SB, there is a cleaning cycle, hold and press, and it will go into a 15 cycle cleaning cycle. So you can load it up with your Cafetto, walk away, do your register, come back, or whatever you're doing, and then it will constantly play in the background, okay? So that's your cleaning cycle. When you're cleaning on, and this doesn't just apply for all machines, just our machines, it applies for all machines as well. When you're diluting your Cafetto, when you're using Cafetto, it's very important you don't overuse that powder. Because what can happen is it can block your group solenoid. Our group solenoids are designed to open and close to deliver water, right? So if you block that, you come first thing in the morning and there's no water coming out of your head, 99% of the times, the machine is not faulty. It's just that you guys, I'm not blaming you. Hold on a second.
Your staff.
Someone, some people you may know, may have overused Cafetto. Because we think the more Cafetto, the cleaner the machine. It's actually the opposite. So we recommend once you start that process, and I'll run you through it today because we're here and you guys have got nothing else better to do other than listen to me. A little bit of Cafetto in the top, about that much. Even I feel sometimes that's a bit too much, to be honest. Okay. It's not. This should last you 10 years. It's very important that you don't overuse this product because it can damage your machine, okay? So what I do and what I recommend, it doesn't matter if you have a Wega, a La Marzocco, a Sanremo, or anything. This is what I would recommend you guys doing when you clean your machine, okay? A little bit of hot water. And what we want to do is we want it to react. We want it to dilute a little bit and we want it to react, okay? Pop it in your group head and leave it there for about 2 minutes. What happens is it starts to react to the coffee in the group head, and it will start to self-clean itself without activation yet. You'll see that eventually the caffetto will start to drip down the back of the solenoid, which that means it's doing its job, okay? It's like when we have a t-shirt that has a white t-shirt that has a big stain. Do you just chuck it in the wash and think it's gonna fix itself? No, you spray it with some stuff and you let it soak, right? It's the same thing. So we want this to soak for about 2 minutes before we activate the shot. Once we do that, you'll see it might start to drip out the back there, as you can see, so it's working. Then we go in, I'm not gonna wait 2 minutes. Activate, hold, and press, and it will automatically go through that cleaning cycle, okay? That's what we recommend. It's super important, not to overdo this. Once it finishes its 15 cycle, the most important part is also the rinse, okay? So say hypothetically it finished, take your handle out, remove the caffetto that's left over, rinse your handle, add fresh hot water, put it back in, and again, remember this is happening towards the end of the day so you're not busy, and then activate the last cleaning cycle. That will remove the caffetto from the solenoid, and then it will hopefully be all great in the morning when you first come in. Do you guys dial in the morning? So you run your coffee through to season it in the morning? Yeah?
I'm doing that at the end.
So you clean it, then you season it, so when they first come in, they're ready to go. And are we turning on and off our machines every night?
No.
No, so we're leaving them on. Wow, perfect, that's amazing. So a lot of people turn it off and expansion and, yeah, okay, I don't even need to explain that, you guys know that. Okay, great. If you guys are coming in the morning and you're finding that your group solenoid is blocked, there is a little trick. You don't necessarily need to call the technician. Unless this doesn't work, call them. Go to your T button, hot water, back into the group head, and what happens, by default, there's a suction, and that suction will clean back into your group solenoid, and it will unlock that caffetto lock. So if that doesn't happen immediately, what I want you guys to do is activate a cleaning cycle again. So you're activating the solenoid, it's opening, closing, pushing what it needs to push, back out, okay?
Is this if there's a caffetto?
If there is a caffetto block, yeah. Because what happens is that fresh water will unlock the caffetto block, yeah. Removing your shower screen. This is something that a lot of people do with a screw sometimes. If you do need to remove your shower screen, look, a lot of people don't recommend it, but if for some reason it happens and you need to remove it, this is how you would do it. But the reason why we touched on the cleaning process of the Sanremo range, if you do the cleaning process the way I described it just then, you will not need to remove your shower screen ever. And if you want, you can prove me wrong. You can remove it after you've done the cleaning cycle and you'll see it's spotless. So you don't actually need to remove your shower screen. But for some reason, if it falls out or if something happens and you need to replace it and you can't get a tech out, this is how I'd recommend doing it. You can use a flathead stubby screwdriver. If you don't have that, you can use your actual basket, okay? So stubby in, just slowly work it out, wiggle, it comes straight out, okay? It's very simple. To put it back in, yes, you can use your fingers to try to push it back into position. That's fine, as long as you've got good heat-resistant fingers. I think we all do. Push it back in, pop out your shower, in, you're good to go again. Okay, it's very simple. Obviously, I've done that 3,500 times. So the first time you do it, it might not be as finessed, but that's okay. So that's how you would remove your showers. Like, again, if you were doing the correct cleaning method, you don't need to do it. Honestly, you won't need to do it. And you can try it the first time and see, oh, I actually don't need to do it. So up to you. I don't recommend doing it because if you do crack the seal and you don't have a spare seal, your reps are going to kill me, and I don't want that. So don't do that. Any questions so far? All right, one thing I do really want to touch on as well, we have these machines and we use them and we pump them and they're doing a lot of volume, but one thing that a lot of people don't do is spread the load. So in regards to longevity of your machine, maintenance on your machine and all that sort of stuff, like I said, we focus from grinder to espresso to milk. Through our busy times, 100%, yes, we need to do that. But when we have those dull moments, when there's not many people, I want you guys to utilize the other side of the steam arm. It's very important that you don't just stick to one. If you've done 50 coffees, yeah, by all means do the workflow. But as soon as you start to slow down and there's one person on the machine, there's no reason why they can't use the other side. We have a whole other side of a machine that you can use through your quiet periods. And that's how you'll extend the life of your coffee machine. And that's how you'll get to your 6-month PMs or your 12-month PMs without issues, okay? So yeah, I would recommend through like maybe after 12 or after your busy breakfast, whatever, just go to the other side of the machine and just use that one side. And as well, one thing that I've seen as a tech, there's always one to two group heads that are extremely damaged. And that they're not damaged as in like they're falling out, but as in that you can quite easily tell that this is the barista's favorite side. Okay, if you have a 3-group coffee machine, there's always one group head that's neglected. What that means is that that flow from that group head is going to be faster than the other two. Not because it's not working right, it's just because it's not being utilized, so it's technically still brand new. So it's very important that we spread the load evenly across our group heads so we have consistency, okay? Obviously, it's a metal machine, so cleanliness and all that sort of stuff is super easy. Windex does a great job. So it's pretty easy. Obviously, one of the biggest features about our Sanremo range is that everything's elevated. Everything you can see underneath your coffee machine. So cockroaches, cleanliness, all of that sort of stuff, you don't see it because you have to clean it. Sugar doesn't hide underneath our coffee machines, because if it does, the customers see it. So it's a very clean machine, exterior-wise. So that's one of the biggest features, one of the biggest selling features of the machine is that you can actually gain access to completely underneath your coffee machine and clean that area, because it is a breeding ground for crazy stuff. If you are in South Australia or Queensland, WA as well, yeah, the water quality is extremely hard there. The reverse osmosis, do we know how the reverse osmosis works? Yeah, okay, cool. So for longevity, for obviously warranty as well, it's very important that the water is tested and the adequate filter is provided to the machine. The RO system protects the copper boiler, protects your stainless steel boilers if you have it, and also all your moving components. Once you have limescale or corrosion built up in your boiler, there's no coming back from it unless you do a full refurb of the machine. So basically you pull the machine out, you drip out the element and you soak it in an ionized bath or a citric acid bath for if you don't have an ionizer. Yeah, is that what it's called? Yeah, okay. Which basically sends frequency to the actual boiler. You could have that steam boiler soaking for 1 week and it will still have scale in it. So with an RO system, it prevents that, or it prevents that from happening, and it extends the longevity of your machine as well. We've had situations where people had really harsh water conditions and didn't put the RO system in, and within a year, the machine had to be completely pulled apart and rebuilt. So there are a lot of good RO systems at the moment. We recommend the BWT one. At the moment with the F18 SB, we recommend a BWT twin head with a best max filter. Yeah. Oh, sorry. So a dry element means that it's metal on metal. There's no water in that component. So it will set a certain temperature and it will hold that temperature. So it will preheat the water. It will preheat the E61 head as well. So by the time the water gets to the actual head, it holds that temperature. Because as soon as hot water meets anything that's cold, almost instantly you lose temperature. So that's why the dry element's there. So it keeps the actual head hot. So once the water meets it, it remains at that temperature. Dry element in there is just directly above it. Yeah, sweet.
So, and how many mils of water can you go through before it starts to lose temperature?
Well, at the moment, it will lose. You can't say that it won't. Regardless, there will always be a temperature drop. Sure. Until it loses a significant amount. It's probably on a continuous pour I'd say about 150 mils. You'll start seeing that drop.
Okay.
But
and how fast is it?
it's coming. So with the PI, like I said to you, with us and what we've aimed to do is we've aimed to control that curve, aim to control that. So within if you're, for example, if your steam boiler decided to, you've been pumping it and it's got a lot, steam's happening, tea's happening, coffee's happening, your steam boiler fills, because it's going to fill. Obviously it's got water in there, so it's going to fill. We've seen a machine last about, when we first got, well, I remember when we first got the F18 range, we activated the steam ones and we just sat there and watched it. We activated heads, we've activated the steam ones and we watched it. It kicked in and then we turned everything off just to see how it went, and it was back up to temperature within a minute. But I'm talking about under the pump type situation. So it's quite reactive. There's always going to be a temperature drop in every single machine in the market. No one can say to you that you're delivering 93 degrees every time you extract a coffee. It's impossible. But it's about managing that curve. Like again, remember, there's always going to be fluctuation, but it's about what we're trying to do today is trying to encourage or engage and also educate you guys on your actual machine, because it's, yes, we press a button, yes, we turn the steam wand on and we go and we think that it's invincible. At the end of the day, this machine has a cold water injection come in at 124 degrees, there's always going to be a dip. That's like when you fill up a teapot at home. You fill it to the rim, it's going to take you 5 minutes to heat. You fill a little bit, it's going to take you 2. So the reason why ours are a little bit more reactive, or no, not a little bit, a lot more reactive to a lot of other machines in the market is because we never inject a lot. It's more reactive, so it fills more frequently, so it means it's getting a little bit of water every time, which means it's more reactive. It doesn't have to heat up this much. It only has to heat up this much. So in regards to the steam arm and our steam tips, from factory, they come at 1.3. So Sanremo prides themselves on latte art texturing. So the Racer, just so you guys know a little bit back end, the Racer was the latte art choice machine. And the reason why it was that is because of the controlled steam. 0.3 restrictor gives you optimum texturizing of milk to latte art and do your swans and do your elephants and do your gorillas and whatever else, right? So that's where that came from. And then what we've done in all our machines is we've adapted a lot of our machines backwards. So yes, we had the Racer, but then how are we going to do the F18? What are we going to do? We're going to take little tips from there and do that. So that's where the 1.3 came to the F18. But what we seem to forget, or what we thought we forgot, is that the F18 is designed to punch out consistent coffee, which means that they need a lot of steam. So that's where the 1.5 steam tip came in. So at the moment as it stands, the F18 comes with a 1.3, okay? That's what it is. And then, so when they're texturizing milk and they've gone from this, machine that used to dump so much and then give them so much, and then they've gone to this like more texturized milk, they're like, this is too slow. So we've introduced the 1.5, and you can increase the steam boiler temperature, but once you do the 1.5 steam tip, you won't need to do that. Yeah, because it's got a big, obviously it's big. A standard for us, yeah. For those machines, it'll be a standard, yeah.
Increasing steam boiler temperature will
No. So that's why we don't want. Yes, it will. Yes, but that's why we wanted to introduce the 1.5 rather than the 1.3, because we want the temperature of the coffee to still be that 93 or 94 that you desire. Yeah. So the 1.5 will come into play. So you won't need to increase your steam boiler temperature. Yeah. In regards to the Teflon inside, like I just told you guys before, when cleaning your steam tips, it's that Teflon, we've seen people that collapse. So if that ever happens and you guys are on site and you guys are busy, or it's not working for you, one, obviously call the tech, but you can take the tip off and try to push it back in, push the Teflon back in to see if that works. But that's one.
Yeah, seriously?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so if the tip, I'm not sure where it went, the one that I already had open, it's gone, but, oh, here it is, sorry. So yeah, you can actually pull it off, because normally what happens is it dislodges from up here. You can try to push it back in, yeah? Worst case scenario, which I don't know if I should say this, you can pull it out. But you need to get someone to replace it, because this metal is not designed for milk. Yes, it's designed for milk, but it's not designed for, this is a cool touch wand. So it's a different grade of stainless steel. So the wiping of it, Yeah, so yeah, that's why it's important that you keep that in there, because then you'll look like you have a lollipop at the end of your steam arm, and that's gross. So, yeah. Okay. Any questions? How are we going? Do you feel like you got? Did you feel like you got some info out of me?